Lots of draft day scenarios. It's draft day, okay? We only have 2 more mocks. We only have 1 more mock before we get to the first round tonight. What in the hell are the Charlotte Hornets going to do? Are they standing pat? Are they going to trade up? Are they going to trade down? Are they going to trade all around? Are they going to do the hokey pokey and shake it all about? I don't know what they're going to do, but we throw a whole lot of draft content in your face today. Locked On Hornets.
And that's what it's all about.
You are Locked On Hornets, your daily Charlotte Hornets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
It's Locked On Hornets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen. We're free. We're available anywhere you get your podcast. That includes YouTube. There's Doug Branson, everyhornetsboxscore.com. He's also hosting another pod anywhere you get your pods and also on YouTube, Locked On NBA. Matt Moore, Hayes, again, Locked On NBA. Make sure it's your second listen. I'm Walker Mail. Listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Sports Radio, 92.7 FM. We're going to try to do this rapid fire. I get made fun of this on Wes and Walker, and you and I are both offenders of this, where we try to say rapid fire, and then it's nowhere close. It's a 40-minute pod. It could be a 4-hour radio show that we try to jam-pack into 3, and then I'd have a whole bunch of leftover topics. So I'm not going to do that today, Doug. I'm not going to do it. We're going to go through it. We're going to go rapid fire, a whole bunch of draft content for your face, okay? We got a bunch of mock drafts all over the place. You're the keeper of the mock drafts, just like you are the Sticko Satchel. What do you want to lead off with today?
Well, just what the hell are the Hornets going to do? Because that's the big question on everyone's mind. I think they're the most mysterious team in this sort of top 7, 8 range. And I know that the draft technically starts with what the Philadelphia 76ers are going to do at the 3 pick. But I think if you look at how the mock drafts have shaken out, I think there are several that have the Hornets taking VJ Edgecombe falling past the Philadelphia 76ers. That's been the guy that really all along this process has been connected with the Charlotte Hornets and only more recently started to rise to the level of number 3, as we saw the other guy that's being mocked to the Charlotte Hornets, Ace Bailey, fall a few slots, but several mock drafts still have the Hornets saying, forget it, don't care that he didn't work out for us. We're going to just take the talent and either figure it out or try to trade him anyhow. And then you still have a few mock drafts out there connecting Kon Knueppel to the Charlotte Hornets. And then you have other reports saying that all of that Kon Knueppel talk is double secret smoke screen.
Yeah.
And we're all just sitting here left with this idea that nobody knows anything, which is what I've been preaching on this whole draft process for the past 5 or 6 years. Nobody has any idea what anyone's going to do, and I love it.
All right, draft day predictions. Okay, here's what I got.
Yeah.
Number 1. If VJ Edgecombe is there, they're going to take him and call it a day.
I like that.
I'm not going to look to move up and down the board. If VJ Edgecombe is available at number 4 and Daryl Morey just decides to take Ace Bailey, if they decide to take Kon Knueppel, if VJ Edgecombe is there at 4, that's going to be the Hornets selection.
Why?
That's the first option.
Why did they do that?
Because he fits a whole bunch of stuff that the Hornets need, and he does a lot of winning stuff. And defensively, he looks a lot like the guards that just ate up all the other teams in the NBA postseason that play for OKC. There are a lot of winning plays that he makes defensively. He's not a perfect prospect, but he fits very well with what this team needs. There's some overlap, and he could be the best player available, and he also fits a perfect need with what this team is looking to accomplish going forward. I think there are a lot of reasons as to why VJ Edgecombe is that pick at number 4 if he's available. Would you agree?
Yeah, they would be essentially doing the same thing that they tried to do with the acquisition of Josh Green. They would just be doing it at a slightly cheaper contract, and he's going to get to slot in immediately if Josh Green misses part of the year after having shoulder surgery. But they're trying to transform the defense, and then, of course, with VJ, you're going to get so much more upside than what you have with Josh Green right now, because there is the potential for him to turn into a shooter. There's potential for him to be a slasher. I mean, I think he can get to the rim already. There are questions about what he does when he gets to the rim. Now, I will ask you this, rapid fire style. We did get some information from Jeremy Woo and Phony Gavoni that VJ Edgecombe looked a little nervous in his private workout for the Philadelphia 76ers and did not perform very well, at least shooting-wise, when he was in an unnatural one-on-one setting. But he did do great in the interviews. Are you concerned about that intel?
I didn't even know that intel was out there. I did
Boom,
not.
breaking
I didn't know
news.
that.
I just broke it to you. Rapid
that's
fire
breaking
style.
news. Not really. I don't want him to look nervous in a one-on-one setting, but we're not going to be playing one-on-one in the NBA.
That's
And
right.
so much
5-on-5 last time I checked.
That's right. That's right. So much of the selling on VJ Edgecombe is what he does for a team defensively. That's so much of the selling point, with the offensive stuff coming along as he grows and matures into his NBA role. The other things he does offensively is, even if I am a little worried about the handle, he does get to the free throw line quite a bit, which is something this team doesn't have a lot of, especially out there on the perimeter. He does get to the rim, even if you'd like to see him finish a little bit better. He does get to the cup better than what a lot of people on the perimeter for this team right now. So I think that's a selling point for VJ. And defensively, I just think there's a lot of potential. I think that guy is going to buy into everything he needs to do. That's my VJ Edgecombe sales pitch. I think he's the pick if he's there at number 4.
The reason he was nervous and that it was an unnatural 1v1 setting is because the Philadelphia 76ers made him play 1v1 against Dr. J.
It's tough. Don't want to beat up on the old man.
Wait a minute, what's
He's
going
a
on here?
legend.
Why do I have to play Dr. J?
Edgecombe is a physical player. There's no reason to be physical with Dr. J. Number 2, VJ Edgecombe is off the board. What do the Hornets do? I think they trade back. I think that happens tonight, Doug. If VJ is off the board, I think at number 4, Washington is going to look to get that 4 spot to secure Ace Bailey, or Brooklyn is going to look to jump up to that 4 spot to secure Ace Bailey. 8 is the furthest back I'd feel comfortable moving. There is some RJ Barrett stuff out there. Toronto does have the 9 pick. I don't know if the Hornets would be interested in moving back to 9, collecting RJ and some assets. That would be the kind of bet that you make if you're looking to make some noise in the Eastern Conference next year. It's not great, but it's also one of those moves on the margins. You don't have to give a lot up. There's something there with RJ. Maybe the third time is the charm with Mr. Barrett coming back to a state that he played college basketball in. But anyways, I'd rather just move back to Brooklyn. If Cam Johnson's a part of it, great. If one of the 5 first-round picks is a part of it, or 2 of the 5 first-round picks they have is a part of it, then really great. But I do think Brooklyn is loading up on all of these first-round picks to make a move to get to the top. And the other thing we haven't mentioned enough, I don't know how many people are in the building over there in Brooklyn anymore that have a real familiarity with Jeff Peterson. But remember, this was Jeff Peterson's old stop. So if there's anybody that could grease the wheels on a deal taking place, it might be someone that knows how that organization operates. That's Jeff Peterson. Number 2, Doug, VJ Edgecombe off the board. I think they trade back.
Oh, okay.
What do you think? Oh, wow.
No, sorry. I was pulling up.
It's rapid fire. I'm trying to hold true to my
First
part.
of all, that didn't feel very rapid fire. Second of all, because I
Not
didn't know when you were going to
Not
stop.
when you pause before you speak. You're right.
I didn't know when you were.
going to
See, this is tearing us apart. All of these mock drafts being in different directions. Jeff Peterson is tearing us apart. I was looking up cleaning the glass numbers on RJ Barrett because I'm really scared that they're going to trade for RJ Barrett, and I'm not going to like it. I don't know what I need to see what his contract is, how much is left, but not a very efficient offensive player. I think if they trade back for a player, I want them to trade back either for a 3-point shooter or somebody that can continue to help them transform the defense. Maybe RJ Barrett can do that a little bit, but really, I mean, not a very efficient offensive player. I just don't love that for them. I think what would be interesting, I don't think San Antonio would want to jump back into the top 5, but if they did, man, I mean, if they take Dylan Harper number 2, then Devin Vassell seems to be an odd man out. I heard that on Locked On Spurs today. And I would love if the Hornets could find a way to and maybe it's moving back to 8 and then trading with San Antonio and moving back again. I don't know what the scenario would be, but I would love to acquire Devin Vassell. I think Corey Kispert is another name to look at with Washington. Then you're adding a shooter, somebody that can come in and help you improve, particularly off the bench. It's really a question of like how serious are the Hornets about competing, because as we'll talk about in the next segment, there have been a flurry of moves in both conferences, but there have been a flurry of moves to set teams up. We saw Atlanta acquire Kristaps Porzingis. I think there are some teams that are looking at the Eastern Conference and they're saying, hey, there's an opportunity here. If we make a few moves, there's an opportunity here to compete where maybe we couldn't in previous years. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what their philosophy is and how much they're willing to risk to make that happen for the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, each trade back candidate has a veteran that you could go after. At Washington, Corey Kispert. At New Orleans,
New Orleans, close to the water, and you sound underwater right now.
I sound underwater. I'm just dying. That was a dead one. Herb Jones for New Orleans. That would be fantastic. Would love to see him. And I even just was listening to the Bill Simmons pod. Chris Mannix brought his name up as a potential candidate for other teams to go trade for. So Corey Kispert, Herb Jones, Cam Johnson, RJ Barrett, or any other veteran. I think those are 4 guys. And then you mentioned Devin Vassell if San Antonio wanted to trade back up. Last thing, just real quickly, for a third prediction, if they can't find a trade back partner, if it just doesn't work out, they can't come to terms on an agreement, VJ Edgecombe is off the board. What do the Hornets do there? It's between Tre Johnson and Kon Knueppel. I don't know. I buy into the Kon Knueppel sources. I buy into it, and I think everything has been running so much so that the Hornets are going to take Kon Knueppel. I think they tried to put something out there that it's all just a smokescreen. I'm going to go, and he's the favorite right now, I believe, according to FanDuel. He's the favorite to be selected by the Hornets at 4. So in that scenario, I think Kon is the pick at 4, and then I don't think Ace Bailey is going to be taken at 4 by the Hornets with their intent to keep him in a Hornets uniform. I feel very confident that Ace Bailey, make fun of me all you want to, I'll deserve it with that confident kind of pick. I could be loud, I could be wrong. I've been both before. I don't think Ace Bailey is going to be playing for the Hornets.
Kon Knueppel, basketball pedigree, both his mom and dad played ball, and you're doing a bet on safe. You're doing a bet on two-way play that's going to, right off the rip, two-way play. With Tre Johnson, it's more about defensive upside. Was the Texas situation weird for him? It didn't seem like he really vibed with his coach and the system there. You know he can shoot. There is a little bit more star upside with Tre Johnson.
And there's self-creation with Tre more so than Kon. Like the self-creation is really there with him.
Both, yeah, exactly. They both can shoot, but you're going to have to set Kon up, whereas Tre can set himself up. And so then you get into sort of these upside, like, can he be a Tyler Hero level player? But then you get in the danger, is he going to be early Malik Monk, where we saw him struggle with Charlotte to stay on the floor because defensively he just didn't have it, and Steve Clifford wasn't having him not having it, and I don't think Charles Lee would either if that were the same thing. So that's the danger there with that pick, is can he get enough early minutes on a team that is prioritizing defense?
Rapid fire predictions. We move on. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Bees everywhere!
Now, what's interesting is Trey Mann is healthy. His agent, Shams, he's telling you that Trey Mann is healthy just in time for contract negotiations. Shocker. There are a few shooting guards in play for the Hornets to take. We've talked about how it might affect Josh Green. How would it affect Trey Mann? Free agency, the negotiation period starts on June 30th, just a few days after the draft. How is their draft pick going to affect what the Hornets do with Trey Mann? There are a lot of things interesting to discuss about that guy. Coming up next, LOH. This episode is brought to you by Open Phone. If you're running a business, you know that every missed call is money left on the table. Think about the last time you had an urgent need, maybe for a plumber or a service provider. If the first person didn't answer, did you wait? Probably not. You moved on, and that's why you need Open Phone. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system built to streamline and scale your customer communications, all from an app on your phone or computer. Jeff Peterson might need to deploy his Open Phone strategy tonight. Open Phone lets everybody manage business calls and text from a single app. The shared inbox feature is a game changer. Your team can jump into any conversation instantly without missing a beat. And their AI agent handles after-hour calls, answers common questions, and captures leads so you never miss a customer. Open Phone is offering our listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's OPENPHONE. Openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Open Phone, no missed calls, no missed customers. More Locked On Hornets ahead. We got the tweet yesterday from Shams Charania, really carrying the water for Trey Mann's agent. I mean, if you look at what this tweet was, I'm pulling it up right now so I can get it verbatim. But Trey Mann, we've seen him working out with the Hornets quite a bit at Queens. He's been involved with some of the videos that Miles Bridges might post to Instagram or whoever, right? Here's what Shams tweets. Heading into Hornets restricted free agency, Trey Mann is fully recovered from his back disc herniation, which limited him to just 13 games last season, and has participated in all of Charlotte's offseason activity and 5-on-5s. His agent, Aaron Turner, said, not even hiding it, which is good. We're not listening to sources here. We're listening to the source. Aaron Turner, his agent, is telling you that Tre Mann is all good to go. So Shams is tweeting this out, carrying the water for his agent. Also, I'm glad to hear it. I don't want to hear anything to the contrary. I'm glad that Tre is healthy. We've seen him work out in the offseason. He's been undergoing rehab. By the way, the weird stuff where Tre Mann actually didn't do an exit day interview, and he was the only one not there. And by the time I could ask about it, I had to go do a show because exit day was going on. He was actually at a rehab facility at that time. So we didn't have any clarity, but I got some clarity. Tre Mann was going through rehab at the time. I know he wasn't there for the Hornets day either, whatever that was, but he's good. I buy into it, right? Now, how much should that dictate how the Hornets operate? I don't know. It is an interesting factor here, Doug, that we haven't talked about a lot, that you have all of these backcourt players that you're interested in with VJ, with Tre Johnson, with Kon Knueppel. Does that influence how they operate here with Tre Mann, who isn't slated to get a ton of money? Hell, we talked about 13 possibly being too much, and I don't think he gets 13. So it's like, is it just the qualifying offer? At that point, you'd probably just go ahead and sign up for the depth at the qualifying offer. How does this Tre Mann process play out, Doug?
Well, I think that it is interesting timing because certainly the agent would have already communicated with the Hornets, and the Hornets are going to have some kind of clarity through the grapevine or having met with him during the offseason, or this early part of the offseason, so they know what his health status is. So to me, this is about other teams, and whether that means other teams vying for him in restricted free agency, because if he doesn't get if some team doesn't come along and give him an offer more than the Hornets qualifying offer, then he either has to sign that qualifying offer or they have to come to some deal that's going to be more friendly for the Hornets. Or this could be about just getting the word out to other teams in a possible sign and trade scenario around the draft that could land Tre Mann in another location with a better contract than maybe he would have had if he just stuck out in the restricted free agency process. So I think anything is on the table. I think the Hornets would be, if they're confident that he's fully healthy, that he's fully recovered, and then there aren't going to be any other issues associated with this next season, then I think they would be smart to bring him back. And I don't think it affects what they have to do at the draft, because I think of the wings available, other than like Tre Johnson, I think like Tre Johnson to me maps a little close to what you would get with Tre Mann.
Yep.
But VJ Edgecombe or Kon Knueppel, I think those wings to me fit perfectly with what you're trying to do with Tre Mann off the bench. Whether those players start or play off the bench, you really, in today's NBA, you're hard pressed to have too many wings. Although the Phoenix Suns, with their recent additions, are stretching the bounds of that a little bit. But I think the Hornets are going to be fine taking, honestly, any of those three players and keeping Tre Mann.
We're looking for bang for your buck, and we had that exercise that was fun. It was spawned from a Sicko Satchel question where we had to try to build a starting five with all the available free agents, but we could not spend a dime, a penny more than $20 million bringing in all of those players. And it was hard to do. Like I got Tre Jones, who had an excellent finish to last season before he got injured, but that ate up almost 50% of my salary at $9 million. And yet that would still, at $9 million, be a bargain, right? Malik Beasley signed a one-year contract with Detroit last year for $6 million and eventually became a Sixth Man of the Year candidate. So it's really tough to find who your Malik Beasley is. Tre Mann fits that profile. The kind of guy that is not going to make a lot of money. And then, oh my God, Tre Mann, are you kidding me? This guy's awesome. Where have we been? Well, it's okay. You weren't watching the Hornets play basketball in those 13 games that he suited up last year or in the 30 games that he suited up the year prior. It's okay that you're not watching Hornets basketball, but he's got this kind of talent. He was one of the more beloved players here in Hornets land before he went down with that injury. You talk about bang for your buck. Doug, if you get him on the qualifying offer or really anything less than $10 million per year, yeah, that's the kind of guy that could explode and parlay that into a multi-year $20 million a year deal or like something along the Malik Beasley timeline, except he's a decent amount younger than Malik Beasley. That's the kind of guy, to me, a team, it would be a shrewd move for them to offer him maybe just a little bit more than what the Hornets are willing to go to and see if it works out, especially in the Eastern Conference where it's wide open.
No, I totally agree. I think Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see. Well, I mean, Trey Mann and Mark Williams, how those two situations play out, and if the Hornets are willing to move on from one or more of those players in order to shift a core, a lineup that really hasn't done much. Like there's no resume here to build off of to say, well, we should probably keep most of this together and just see. No, I think the evaluation period is over. I don't think Hornets fans would have any problem with significant shifts in this rotation, even though they didn't really get a chance to see it fully healthy and play last season.
Okay, do you want to get to another topic or move on to a fun Sicko Satchel question in the last segment?
Yeah, no, I want to go rapid fire Sicko Satchel because we have a few fun questions. I still have to do my 60th mock draft, 60 of 61. We're almost there, folks. I've got one final first round mock to give, and then tomorrow we'll do a second round mock. Also, subscribe to YouTube because with whatever time I have, I'm going to jump on there and do some live stuff around the pick. I think I'll be talking to Nick Carboni today, so check out WCNC's offerings on the draft. So I'll be doing that. I know, Walker, you're going to be doing some stuff with the Locked On Network to recap the pick as well. So we're going to be all over the place. Not doing a live show this year, but you will see our faces plenty tonight and tomorrow. Final question before we get to the Sicko Satchel, though. We've seen a flurry of trades so far. I mean, a lot of trades heading into and I think we'll see a lot more today before we ever get to the start of the NBA draft. Are you a little worried that the Hornets have not popped up yet? Now, would you be disappointed if we get through this draft and they take a player at 4, a player at 33, and a player at 34, and they do nothing else?
Well, this is where I don't know, to answer your question. I don't think so. I don't want them to just get involved for let's do something's sake. I'd rather them do something smart if they're going to do something. But am I jealous of not going after Jrue Holiday? Yeah, Jrue Holiday would have been a fun culture guy. I don't quite get what Portland was doing with only getting Jrue Holiday, and actually they were the one giving up picks to go get Jrue for a Simon's expiring contract. We said this yesterday. Don't get weird. I don't want the Hornets to get weird. Jrue Holiday would have been a fun player to go after and see what kind of competitive nature we could play with next year. But I'm not jealous of not going after Jrue Holiday. CJ McCollum, no. I've Jordan Poole, no. Kristaps Porzingis, that doesn't seem like the move to make either. I don't know what you'd be giving up. So, no, I'm not nervous, not jealous. I think right now, so far, I'd be okay with it. What about you?
I would be nervous, I think, that they weren't going to do anything, but also understanding that there would be time. Free agency starts on June 30th. There's going to be time to make moves between now and the beginning of the season. And I would just have to lean back on this idea that, fingers crossed they could see healthy development from LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller and whoever they end up with in all of these picks. And I think they can get some good players at 33, 34 that could contribute as well. But if they don't do anything significant through the rest of this offseason, I will see it as a missed opportunity because this young core could just develop very quickly and prove me wrong. But this seems like an opportunity to compete in a weak Eastern Conference and get some of these players playoff experience that they desperately need. So, yeah, I mean, I would feel, if they just go scratch and go 4, 33, 34, I would feel a little bit nervous about what this roster is going to look like because if they did that, it would remain a young roster. It would remain an inexperienced roster. And, I think the ceiling's pretty low on that kind of thing. So we'll see.
What would you have traded? Would you trade 33, 34, and whoever is equivalent to George Niang, or Terrence Mann, for Kristaps Porzingis?
The Kristaps Porzingis thing is weird. I mean, the sickness that he had last year that nobody could figure out what it was, that is a weird situation that I'm not sure. It's always the thing with the Hornets. People, particularly my co-host on Locked On NBA, like to ask me, would you go for Zion or would you go for KP or da-da-da? And it's always like, can one name float to the Hornets that doesn't have like a laundry list of injury issues? That's the thing. Like, how could they possibly make a move for a player that has all of these injury issues when they've experienced injury after injury to their main core of players? I mean, I think if they
and the
do
truth
make
is,
a
it's
move,
because they're available. Yeah, like it's because they're available.
not all
because
players
of that
are
very
available
thing.
because they have a huge injury list. Not all that's not the situation for every single player. So I don't. Like I know
Sure.
you're not going to find somebody with a clean bill of health. I mean, it's the NBA.
Yeah.
They've been playing basketball a long time. Everybody gets injured. But I mean, Zion Williamson and KP, that's a lot of baggage. I'm not necessarily sure I'm willing to sign up for all of that. No,
I'm with you. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in Drew Holiday, he's 37. Giving up Anthony Simons, like I kind of want to go after Anthony Simons to some degree and have him play. That'd be fun. Anyways, let's move on. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Bees everywhere.
Mock draft, sicko satchel questions, a lot to get to. Rapid fire coming up next. LOH. This episode is brought to you by Wayfair. There's nothing like stepping into your own outdoor space and feeling like you've escaped to a personal oasis. If you're wanting to update your patio this season, Wayfair has made it so easy to turn it into a space that feels like yours, comfortable, stylish, and ready for summer. Wayfair has everything you need to level up your outdoor space: conversation sets, outdoor bars, fire pits, hot tubs, gazebos, and yes, even the perfect string lights to set the vibe. It's like giving your backyard that resort feel without the resort price tag. So you could go to Wayfair, and don't wait when you go to Wayfair. Don't wait. Go right now. Make your outdoor space your dream oasis today with Wayfair and enjoy it all summer long. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop a huge outdoor selection. That's Wayfair. Wayfair.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home. More Locked On Hornets ahead. Sicko Satchel question. You are the keeper of this is your time to shine. Keeper of the Sicko Satchel, keeper of the mock drafts. Lead us off here, Doug. What you got?
All right, before I get to the satchel, I was perusing, making sure that there was no breaking news. This is breaking news time, so I was perusing X.com, the little list that I have of national NBA reporters. No breaking news yet. But I also have a list of Hornets players. If they tweet anything, I keep track of it. And I saw Mark Williams reposted this list from NBA University of the most efficient scorers last year among the top 100 players in points per game. And Mark Williams is on this list. He's actually number 5 on this list at a 64.7% true shooting percentage, 15 points per game. Christian Braun, Nikola Jokic, Sabonis, Aaron Gordon, Durant, Zubac, Zach LaVine, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Mobley. That's the rest of the top 10. But Mark Williams reposting that, that's pretty funny. What's less funny is that in the replies, somebody posted the least efficient scorers among top 100 in points per game. Miles Bridges, number 90. Brandon Miller, number 91.
Oh, God.
LaMelo Ball, number 94. They've got 3 in the bottom 10 least efficient scorers among the top 100 in points per game. So, yeah, I think they should make a move.
Well, right. It's like who do they go after though, right? Like this is the whole.
Vassell.
Yeah,
I said Devin Vassell already.
I know. Well, okay, yeah. Devin Vassell would be fun. I'd like to go after Devin Vassell. I don't know where it'd be funny though if we just talked about it and then he falls even further down the list than those guys that we just talked about, and they just parlayed Miles Bridges and Brandon Miller into Devin Vassell. Okay, go. Sicko Satchel question. What you got?
Jay Brown, Buzz City, what's your pick for best Hornets draft in history, as well as the worst? For worst, 2021 is obviously a strong candidate, but my hot take is that we blew the 2011 draft the most. We traded Stack Jack and Sean Livingston, woohoo, Bobcats talk, for Corey Maggette at number 7, and that was used on Bismack Biyombo. Then at number 9, yes, Kimba was good, but laud the names after him: Clay, Kawhi, Jimmy Butler, Vooch, Tobias Harris, etc. And number 3, if we wanted a small all-NBA point guard, we could have just snagged Isaiah Thomas in the second round, Mr. Irrelevant in that draft, but instead sold the 39th pick for cash. Oh, that's bringing back memories, selling second-round picks for cash. I guess someone upstairs thought we had too much talent. We then won 7 games the following season. So best and worst draft. Does 2011 rank worse than 2021?
It's bad. It's a good list of reasons as to why that's the worst one. we've been looking at the 2021 draft class, a couple times now, and it is hilarious just how terribly each of those guys flamed out of the organization. You got to understand. You're talking about 2 top 20 picks, Doug, 2 of them. Yeah. James Bouknight is not in the league right now. He's not playing for an NBA roster. Right. It's 2025. He was selected in 2021. He didn't play for an NBA team last year. 2 years, done. Kai Jones, different circumstances. He is in the league. I think he's on his 4th stop right now after he was released by the Hornets, but neither one of those guys suited up for the Hornets very much, and they didn't give us a whole lot of memories. They gave us some bad memories. The other thing is, I always go back to this. That trade when they traded up back into the first round to go get Kai Jones, they didn't have control of that first round pick that they gave up, and everybody loved the protections on it, which is great. I'm glad that the Hornets were able to use their first round picks, but it kept us out of the sweepstakes for a Donovan Mitchell, to where now we just don't have as many assets to go after Donovan. I know the Hornets were interested in him, okay? They were. So if the Hornets were interested in Donovan Mitchell, but they don't have the assets to compete with Cleveland, they don't have the assets to compete with New York because they didn't have control of another first-round pick. So while these other teams could offer 4, the Hornets could only offer 3 at the time. So these are all that. Remember, too, I will say this. I don't know if the Hornets were ever interested in going after SGA, but do you remember a few years ago when there were some rumblings about, hey, maybe OKC is just ready to blow it up again? This was before, this is like around the Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren draft. Mm-hmm. It was like, it was hard to parse out. It was like, is this real that they want to get off of SGA? I don't know how real it was, but I do remember saying, we should make a play if it's at all like the door is open, even just a tiny, tiny bit. But you couldn't do it. So the way that it kept you from being in the sweepstakes for some of these stars, the way that your first round picks, your top 20 picks flamed out the way that they did, it's hard for me to go anywhere else outside of 2021.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got 0 in 2011. You got Kemba Walker. It wasn't just that he was good; he's the greatest player in franchise history. That elevates 2011 far past. I would rank it, honestly, because of that. I would rank it as one of the best. I don't think it's certainly not the worst, but I understand. It was a weird transition. Bobcats. By the way, Bismack Biyombo, if he doesn't play this year, that's it for the Bobcats. They're extinct. Bismack Biyombo, the last Bobcat standing in the league.
Is that right? Yeah. My God. Yeah, the guy drafted ahead of Kemba, and yet we still somehow fell backwards into our best draft pick.
Best draft? That's tough because, I mean, you would sort of automatically go to the ones where they had the top picks early on. Alonzo Mourning in 92, second overall selection. Larry Johnson, number 1 overall selection. Those obviously brought, levels of talent maybe that we haven't seen since with the Charlotte Hornets.
It's tough.
Yeah, so, I mean, you could go with either of those. Honestly, I would say 2019, P.J. Washington, Cody Martin, Jalen McDaniels, just in terms of hitting, because even those 2 drafts with LJ and Zoe, the second-round picks didn't do much. The Hornets have rarely crushed it that hard. So, I just say getting contributions from all 3 of those players, being able to trade all 3 of those players and get back assets. Cody Martin, the first second-round pick to sign an extension for the franchise. PJ Washington, you got some good memories, and you netted a first-round pick for him. Yeah. I think they nailed the 2019 draft more than they've nailed any other draft.
They did a good job. I got a sneaky one for you. How about 1999? Baron Davis, third
That was
pick.
my other one. Oh, that's my nails, baby.
I love Lee Nailon. If anybody asks me who's my favorite obscure Hornet, it's Lee Nailon, who was actually just flat out good for this team when they needed him to step up in the absence of Jamal Mashburn being hurt. He was the 43rd overall pick. Lee Nailon was awesome for this team. So Baron Davis, 3rd pick, 43rd pick was Lee. I don't know what other picks were missing because Basketball Reference does that stupid thing. The NBA does the stupid thing where Devontae Graham isn't even mentioned a part of the Hornets draft history when you go look it up because he was traded for. So he's not on the Hornets draft history when you go to Basketball Reference. I hate it. I don't know what players were missing. Perhaps that would change our answer, but 1999, I like 2019 as well. And then you're going back further. I think that's kind of it, Doug. I think you're right. Those are the 2 answers. What else you got?
Okay, let me get back to my note here. I'm still on looking at draft history.
Well,
all right.
I've got one from Rod Morrow, who literally, I'll tell you this, okay? Our buddy Rod from the Black Guy Who Tips podcast, friend of the show, just awesome dude. Here's what he writes. Are y'all done recording Locked On? This is at 9:16. I said,
nice.
literally starting the third segment right now. He says, okay, I have a sicko question. If the Hornets move back and Ace Bailey keeps dropping, at what point would you be like, okay, just draft him? Like, say they traded down to 9 and he was still on the board. Would you draft him then? Or traded to 13 and he's still there? At what point would you just say, okay, I can't pass up on Ace Bailey anymore? Even if the idea is you trade back because a team wants to come up and get Ace, but maybe they pull the old switcheroo and they don't take him. Would you take him at 8, 9, 10? What's the answer for you, Doug?
If Kon Knueppel is still on the board, I'm taking Kon Knueppel. If he's not, and Tre Johnson is gone, and VJ Edgecombe is gone, then yeah, fine. Let's go. Talent. I think it'd be hard pressed for a team with 19 wins to pass up on that talent at that position. And then you just hope that you've already built up enough culture and enough Hornets DNA, and that Charles Lee can sort of set a vibe for him very early on, and that his management gets out of the way and lets him just play basketball. Although I saw the quote from him that said he's put on, this is Ace Bailey saying
that's right,
that he's already put on 20 pounds of muscle. I'm like, what? Now, come on. 20 pounds of muscle? Come on.
I don't believe you.
He weighed less. I think he weighed less at the combine than what Rutgers had him listed at. He put on 20. Okay.
The measurement myths from Ace Bailey being 6'10" and gaining 20 pounds of muscle, they are carrying on a life of its own. I think for me, the real question, like Jakob Jonas or Ace Bailey, what would the Hornets do
that's where I
in
go.
that scenario?
Come on.
Yeah. Are you getting too cute? Yeah, I'm with you. If all those other guys are off the board that you just mentioned, then I'll take Ace at 8. But the other thing is, if you trade it back to 10 or 9 with Toronto and he's still there, now you have to wonder why. Now it's like, okay.
I don't think you have to wonder. I think you know exactly why. And then the question is, are you willing to just deal with all of the stuff that those other teams weren't willing to deal with?
That's fair.
It's not an injury question where it's like, oh, is it some sort of secret knee injury? No, really, you'd have to call up Washington and be like, how the hell did you pass up on this guy?
That's fair. Everything we've heard about so far wouldn't make me pass on him so much to where he would fall past 10. Like, that would be kind of wild. Although there apparently, I don't know, again, with the Bill Simmons pod, Chris Mannix was on there saying there's maybe even some stories behind the scenes. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's just I don't know what it all means. But yeah, I'm with you. I agree with what you said. Another Sicko Satchel question. We have some in the hopper. What you got?
Yeah, Bam Bam of the 21st Ricky Pierce Division, a.k.a. the Flying Big Paper Daddies, ask, you're in the low bar on draft night. What's your comfort food and your drink before the pick comes in?
Okay, I'm going with, if I have to kind of put a Hornets pun on it, I'm going to need a little bit more time to think. But my comfort food at the bar for sure is nachos. Just loading them up. I love the nachos that I'm going to order. And then my drink that I'm ordering, yeah, I think I just need a beer. I don't know what kind of beer. Probably a Yingling. Probably like an amber or something a little darker. I'm not a hop guy, so give me a brown ale, an amber ale, something like that. But I'm going nachos and just a beer. I don't want like liquor. I don't want a cocktail. This isn't fun, right? Like I need some kind of beer and nachos to get through it.
Yeah, I need several shots of whiskey. And my comfort food, not nachos. My comfort food would be.
You said that with disgust. You didn't
some
like the
kind
nachos,
of yeah. Well, and what? Well, does it have to be bar food? If it's bar food, just give me some bacon cheese fries, which are kind of like. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like nachos, but I'm going bacon cheese fries. That's always my comfort food in a bar. If it's just regular, if I can have anything, give me a little baked ziti or something. That's my comfort food overall.
Yeah, get it.
But if you eat that in the bar, it's really gotten low. Like things have taken a dark turn.
Hey, Horace,
baked ziti at the bar.
Back at the low bar. Yeah. God, just leave the plate of baked ziti here. I'm gonna just leave the plate. I'm here. That would be tough. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Final mock draft, day 60 of 61. This is so important.
Wow.
We are hours away from finding out what the Hornets are going to do. We need the latest intel. So I found the most serious, the best mock draft I could deliver here on day 60 of 61. Of course, I'm going with the mock draft at ProFootballNetwork.com. Their mock draft, they've got Cooper Flagg going to the Dallas Mavericks. They've got Dylan Harper going to the San Antonio Spurs. The Sixers, they take VJ Edgecombe. Oh, the Hornets miss out on VJ. So what do the Hornets do? They go for Kon Knueppel, the wing out of Duke. There you go, ProFootballNetwork.com.
Pro Football Network. And does it give the name on who curated that mock draft?
Oh, it does not. So you can be pretty sure this was
AI,
some kind of chat GPT.
Oh, that's great. Okay, it's here. We're going to be all over the place. You know, Doug's going to be taking care of the draft for the entire Locked On Podcast Network. You're going to be doing some stuff. You'll see Doug's face with Nick Carboni. You can see my face with Nick Carboni. I actually recorded a session with him 2 days ago about the draft. That was just released yesterday. So go to WCNC's YouTube channel. You'll see me have a conversation with Nick. You'll see Doug and some of the draft takes that he has after that selection or trade or whatever decision is made. Plus, I'll be doing some stuff with Locked On as well. We're just going to be all over the place with this. And if you're going live, Doug, I might try to hop on. Like, we'll be in contact. We're going to try to figure it all out tonight. It's a weird schedule. I'm going to be out at Capitol Grill asking questions to Jeff Peterson after he makes this decision. So I'll be on media coverage, the rare time that nothing else is like really going on for me. And so I get to be there in person and ask some questions. It's here, Doug. What are your draft predictions the same as mine? Do you feel the same way I do with the stuff I was talking about in the first segment?
I'm going to stick with what I've said all along. I think that all of this VJ Edgecombe to Philadelphia talk is, and in fact, that latest report, I think, just solidified my thinking that Philly is not really serious about taking VJ Edgecombe, that the Hornets are going to have the opportunity to select Edgecombe number 4, and that's exactly what they do. And all of this running around and talking about all of these thousands of different things that they could do, it's just all going to end with VJ Edgecombe. And I would be very happy because I think VJ Edgecombe can be a player that can help transform this defense. It allows you to see what you got, continue to see what you have in LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. And I just think it would be an amazing, amazing outcome. So that's what I'm hoping for.
If Malawach is the worst case scenario, then I hope we don't have to eat a whole plate of Malo nachos. I hope we don't have to eat that Malo nachos.
I don't want those Malo nachos. And again, all due respect to the Malo nachos, great. I've been very careful because it seems like a great dude. I can't go down can't go down that road again.
Sorry. All right, that'll do it. Locked On Hornets. We're going to be all over the place, folks. Doug Branson has another pod to record. Locked On NBA. It's Locked On NBA, Matt Moore and Hayes. Go check them out. Make sure they're your second listen. And listen to Wesson Walker as well. We're live, baby. 12 to 3 today. Sports Radio, 92.7
Something's
FM.
going to break. Something is going to break. Maybe with the Hornets. I'm going to stay tuned to your show because something's going to break.
Yeah. Oh, dude, we love breaking news. We have a field day when there's breaking news. So, again, 12 to 3, Wesson Walker. You can also listen to us on the WFNZ app. Tonight's the night. We'll figure out what happens. We'll break it all down tomorrow. Thanks again.